On today's show, the Sacramento Kings lost a very tight game against the Dallas Mavericks, 123 to 119 last night. It was a big D, but the referees are also to blame for giving the Dallas Mavericks the win. I'll explain why by breaking it down, plus previewing Cavs Magic Round 2 tonight. Cavs and Kings fans, let's ride.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time for an all-new episode of Let 'Em Know SK. This is the post-game reaction podcast of the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Sacramento Kings.
And welcome to episode number 2 of Let 'Em Know SK. This is the post-game reaction podcast to the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Sacramento Kings. I'm Skylar Weisberg, and I have the honor and privilege of being your host. I'm a Cavalier and Sacramento King fan since the 2022-2023 season began, and I wish I can tell you, I can give you some positive vibes on this second episode, but unfortunately, in a big-time scrap in Dallas, Texas, the American Airlines Center set the scene, and unfortunately, it was a tale of two halves for the Sacramento Kings as the Kings fall to the Dallas Mavericks, 123 to 119. And also coming up on today's show, in today's second segment, I'm going to preview the Cavs and the Magic Round 2 tonight, which is why I'm going to give you not one, but 2 episodes of Let 'Em Know SK today. Now, I came here expecting that the Sacramento Kings were going to take care of business against a Dallas Mavericks team that was completely desperate for the most part. It was the back end of a back-to-back for Sacramento, and Dallas was fighting for their playoff lives. Coming into this game, they were on the outside looking in. When it comes to the play-in, they were battling with another team, which is my brother's favorite team, the Oklahoma City Thunder, to get into the playoffs. And now, with Dallas winning, they are in a situation where the Dallas Mavericks have to win out, and the Oklahoma City Thunder have to lose the last 2 games that they have in order for Dallas to sneak their way into the playoffs with a Western Conference that is absolutely wild. I mean, nobody except the Denver Nuggets or the Memphis Grizzlies are arguably set in stone when it comes to the playoffs. But I am here to recap a team that lost, and that is the Sacramento Kings as they fall to the Dallas Mavericks 123 to 119 last night in the American Airlines Center. First and foremost, I want to give the kudos to the Dallas Mavericks. It was a game where it was physical. It was controversial at times. There was a lot of flopping going on. There was a lot of missed calls by the refs, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later on. And it was a game that coming into this game, there was a big key battle that I was excited to watch. It was Luka Doncic for the Dallas Mavericks, who's an absolute killer, versus De'Aaron Fox, a.k.a. Mr. Fourth Quarter De'Aaron Fox, who is also an absolute killer. But unfortunately, there's a new man that echoed the title as Mr. Fourth Quarter, and I am talking about Uncle Drew, a.k.a. Kyrie Irving. I am going to get to him in just a little bit. Now, my reaction to this loss for the Sacramento Kings as they fell to the Dallas Mavericks 123 to 119 is, I thought the first half Sacramento played their type of game. They set the pace. They were making shots. They were making a lot of threes. Keegan Murray, again, hotter than fish grease. Domantas Sabonis almost had another triple-double. De'Aaron Fox was doing his thing. But in the second half, all credit to the Dallas Mavericks. All credit to the Dallas Mavericks in the second half. I watched the press conference of the head coach for the Sacramento Kings, Mike Brown, who I think, in my opinion, deserves the NBA Coach of the Year And if he doesn't get Coach of the Year, then what the heck are we doing? He mentioned how it was a tale of two halves. The first half, the Sacramento Kings were the better team, and the second half, the Dallas Mavericks were the better team, and they won this game by outscoring Sacramento 32-21 in the third quarter. And it was a point that Sacramento only had 7 points in that third quarter, and Dallas was just going absolutely off. I mean, Christian Wood went off. Luka Doncic went off. Kyrie Irving especially went off. The stats for this game, it was pretty telling. 50% for the field for Dallas compared to 43% for Sacramento. 45% from three for Dallas, 32.5% for Sacramento. The free throws were pretty even, 83-78 on the percentage. The Kings out-rebounded Dallas 57-39. The points in the paint, Sacramento dominated that 58-36 behind a really dominant performance by Domantas Sabonis. Fast break points, 18-12 in favor of Sacramento. The turnovers, it was not a lot of turnovers for the most part. It was a clean game as far as the turnovers went. But the one thing that I am really, really mad about, when it comes to this game is the officiating. First of all, there was a lot of flops, okay? It was a situation where there was a lot of flopping. There was a lot of arguing by the officials, mostly by Luka Doncic, who is, in my opinion, the legit form of Karen in the NBA. Because let's be honest, as a player, I strongly believe that Luka Doncic is an absolute killer. However, you cannot argue with officials every time you miss a call. I mean, he was asking for a technical foul at one point. I heard Mark Jones on the Sacramento broadcast when I watched this game just moments ago say that Luka Doncic had a technical foul coming his way. And I immediately thought that Luka Doncic deserved a technical foul, but instead, they gave it to our guy, Kevin Huerter, with 5 minutes and 13 seconds on the clock in the fourth quarter. So here's what happened. Kevin Huerter was bringing the ball up, right? He was going to maybe make a pass to one of his open teammates. Tim Hardaway Jr. hits him in the face. I mean, clearly, this man deserves to be upset. Kevin Huerter is a freaking sniper in the three-point line, okay? He didn't do a good job in the All-Star Weekend three-point contest, but that's another point. The point is that Kevin Huerter is an absolute sniper from three, and I have never seen in my natural-born life Kevin Huerter argue a call by the officials that he got shoved in the face, and the refs called it an offensive foul originally. First of all, how is it an offensive foul when Kevin Huerter got shoved in the face, okay? Tim Hardaway Jr. initiated the contact. He initiated the contact. He should have got called for a defensive foul. Ultimately, it was reviewed. Excuse me, I can't even talk. I'm just really, really frustrated about the outcome of this game right now. But ultimately, it was reviewed. The call was reversed to a defensive foul on Tim Hardaway Jr., but Kevin Huerter also got a technical foul for arguing with an official. But I don't blame him. I don't blame him with arguing an official. If I got hit in the face by my brother by playing basketball and he gets called and I get called for an offensive foul, I would have had a complete argument too. I would have had a complete argument that Kevin Huerter should have got the technical foul stripped from the record book and just let him play out. Let it play, let it happen. Man, that was a lot of frustration that I got to get out because I'm a little bit worried with playoff officiating come the NBA playoffs, which start in a couple of days. And it's not just Sacramento who was falling victim to the referees. I think the Cleveland Cavaliers are falling in the same officiating that they couldn't get like the right calls, but that's another story for another day. I want to give also credit to the Dallas Mavericks because Mike Brown said it really clearly that they were the more aggressive team in the second half than Sacramento, and the aggression of the Mavericks was the reason why they won this game. Very quickly for the stats, De'Aaron Fox led the Kings with 28 points. He grabbed 5 rebounds, 8 assists, a steal, and a block. Domantas Sabonis got another triple-double, 19 points, 11 rebounds, 11 assists. He also got a steal. Keegan Murray dropped 11 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. He was 2 for 5 from three-point land. Kevin Huerter was 2 for 7 from three-point land with 14 points. Off the bench, Malik Monk with 13 points, 2 for 6 from 3. Trey Lyles, 8 points, 2 for 4 from 3. Here's another thing before I break down the Dallas Mavericks. The Sacramento Kings need to understand that in order to win games, especially in playoff time, you need to learn how to get in the paint. I love how Sacramento wants to do the 3-ball, and I get that. But when you are not getting your threes, the paint is the best option for you to score, because most of the teams stop you when you shoot the 3, right? But when you get inside most of the time, they cannot stop you. And I think the Kings need to work on a little bit more aggression getting inside. And I will get into that when I preview the Kings and Warriors in today's second episode. As far as the Dallas Mavericks, Luka Doncic, 29 points. He had 9 rebounds and 10 assists, a double-double, and Kyrie Irving. This man just doesn't play fair. 31 points, 8 rebounds, 2 steals. He hit really, really tough shots. It almost felt like a dagger in my own heart watching Kyrie Irving play basketball. I love how Mark Jones in the Kings broadcast said he was in his bag and like 5 guys with the French fries on the bottom. I mean, I can't even describe it better than that. Kyrie with an outstanding game. He was 60% from the 3-point line, and at one point, he went off in the fourth quarter. He is the new Mr. Fourth Quarter in the NBA. But Sacramento, this is what happens when you fall into a desperate team. When you get in your own way, when you leave your game in the locker room in the first half and you let Dallas go off like that, this is what happens to you. All credit to Dallas for being the most aggressive team in the second half. But if you're the Kings, you're going to have to learn quick, because the Warriors are coming into the Golden One Center on Friday night, and they are desperate too. They might be the world champions, but they are going to be a really desperate team. So that's going to be a really fun game to watch. I'm going to preview that game in the second episode. And when we come back from this short break, we will preview Cavs Magic Round 2 tonight. That's coming up after the... Welcome back to Let 'Em Know SK, the post-game reaction podcast of the Cleveland Cavaliers and Sacramento Kings. By the way, I forgot to mention we are not in my Clark, New Jersey studios for at least the next few days. I am actually at my dad's house in Gillette, New Jersey, as my temporary studio to record at least the finale of the regular season. Hopefully, I will be back in my Clark, New Jersey studios come playoff time. We are in a family situation that I am not going to be talking about outside this show, but that's why I am in a different studio today. But that is out of the way. Let's take care of some Cleveland Cavalier business as they take on the Orlando Magic tonight in the final game of the season series, where the Cavaliers lead the season series 3-0. So they have an opportunity for a regular season sweep against the Orlando Magic. Coming in, the Cleveland Cavaliers are 50-30, 19-21 on the road, 4th in the Eastern Conference. The Orlando Magic 34-45, 500 at home with a record of 20-20, 13th place in the Eastern Conference, and coming off a 43-point dominant performance by Spider Donovan Mitchell, the Orlando Magic are looking to stop Cleveland's momentum going into playoff time. My question is, will Cleveland play the starters tonight? Honestly, in my opinion, they should. They should play their starters because I think the starters for the Cleveland Cavaliers deserve at least one more tune-up game for the playoffs, and then you can shut down some of the starters, but not all of the starters against Charlotte. I mean, yes, you can argue that you can shut down Donovan Mitchell against Charlotte. You can shut down probably Darius Garland. You can probably shut down Evan Mobley, but we got to take care of business against the Orlando Magic first. And like I said, the Cavaliers are 33-17 against the Eastern Conference opponents. They rank 8th in the conference with 25 assists per game, led by Darius Garland, averaging 8 points per game. The top performers for the Orlando Magic, Paolo Banchero is scoring 20 points per game with 7 rebounds and 3.7 assists for the Magic. Franz Wagner is averaging 19 points and 6 rebounds while shooting 48% from the field over the last 10 games for Orlando. I'm really looking forward to the key matchup that I'm going in on Franz Wagner for the Orlando Magic versus Big Mo, aka Evan Mobley, for the Cleveland Cavaliers. He is averaging 16 points per game right now, averaging 9 rebounds for the Cavs, and Donovan Mitchell is averaging 3 made three-pointers over the last 10 games for Cleveland. A little bit of a slump for Spider, but you can expect a little bit of slump when Donovan Mitchell is basically your superstar of the team. Over the last 10 games, the Orlando Magic, with a record of 6-4 in their last 10 games, averaging 115 points, 45 rebounds, 26 assists, 8 steals, and 5.5 blocks, while shooting 49% from the field. Their opponents have averaged 110 points per game. Meanwhile, for the Cavaliers, they are 7-3 over the last 10 games, averaging 115 points, 36.5 rebounds, 25 assists, 6 steals, and 6 blocks per game, while shooting a clear 50% from the field. Their opponents have averaged 110 points per game, a 109.8, but I'm going to round it up to 110 points. The Cavaliers coming into this game have the number 1 defense in the NBA, so I expect Cleveland to set the tone on that aspect. As far as the injuries, Jonathan Isaac is out with a hamstring injury for Orlando. For Cleveland, we will probably not have Isaac Okoro or Dylan Windler. Isaac Okoro is out with a knee, and Dylan Windler might be likely out with the foot injury. I want to hone in on one key stat from the last time those two teams met. By the way, the Orlando Magic are coming into this game. If you are one of those people that want to bet on these games, the Orlando Magic are coming in to this matchup, a second game of a baseball series, with a 10-point favorite. Orlando are 10-point favorites coming into this game, which is absolutely not fair. Because I think Cleveland is the better team. I expect Cleveland to dominate in the paint. I expect Cleveland to enforce their will on the defensive end, and I expect Cleveland to win this game. I mean, for Cleveland, you need to make a statement, right? You need to make a statement going into the playoffs and say to the New York Knicks, which, by the way, the playoff matchup between the Knicks and the Cavs are already set. And I'm excited to preview that playoff series, as well as the playoff matchup for the Sacramento Kings, which I'm excited to find out what it is, because as of right now, the Sacramento Kings are facing the LA Clippers as the 6th seed in the playoffs. They were originally going to face the Golden State Warriors, but that's neither here nor there. One key stat my key to the game for Cleveland going into tonight is we need to box out. We need to box out this team and outwork them on the glass, because the last time the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Orlando Magic faced, which was on Tuesday night with a Cleveland Cavaliers 117-113 victory, Cleveland only had 5 offensive rebounds. Only 5 offensive rebounds. That tells me that Orlando was the more aggressive team on Tuesday night. They were much more aggressive on the boards. They were outworking Cleveland on the glass. Thank God and thank our lucky stars, we have a guy named Donovan Mitchell on our team who carried us with 43 points, shooting 15 for 23 from the field and 8 out of 9 for the free throw line. He is just that good. And if he plays today, which I expect him to, he might go off again. But here's my key for the Cavs. Please grab some rebounds. Please learn to box out and box people out. I want to see us dominate the glass. I want to see us win the rebounding battle. I mean, Paolo Banchero might get his. Wendell Carter Jr., we need to contain him. We need to contain Wendell Carter Jr. tonight, because the last time the Cavs and the Magic played, he went off for a couple of threes, and we cannot allow that. So I want to see some defensive intensity for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I need to see Cleveland win the rebounding battle. As far as my prediction, I know the Orlando Magic are the 10-point favorites coming into this game, but Cleveland is the better team. They've been the playoff team the last 3 games of the series. Give me the Cleveland Cavaliers for a season sweep of the Orlando Magic to set the tone and a message to the New York Knicks going into the last home game on Easter Sunday against the Charlotte Hornets. That will do it for today's Let 'Em Know SK. Coming up later tonight, a recap of Cleveland-Orlando Round 2, as well as a preview of the Golden State Warriors and the Sacramento Kings, which I expect that to be a really, really great Western Conference matchup. You can find Let 'Em Know SK, which is free and available on Spotify, Google Podcast, Stitcher, Radio Public, or you can go to podcasters.spotify.com/pod/show /CLESK, or you can download the Spotify for Podcasters app under iTunes or Google Play stores. Please rate and spread the word out to your friends about Let 'Em Know SK, so you will be notified about brand new episodes. This is Skylar Weisberg, and until next time, no matter where you go, be prepared to let them know. I'll be back later tonight to recap Cleveland and Orlando, as well as previewing Sacramento versus Golden State. Until then, peace.